All right, guys. So today we are back. We are playing another game of World of Warships. In today's video, we are taking a look at the Tier 6 Farragut and some basic destroyer gameplay tips. I went ahead and pulled this little guy out because it was a very solid Tier 6 destroyer. It doesn't have amazing torpedoes, doesn't have amazing guns, but it's solid at everything, and it kind of forces you to play the class in the most balanced way versus just, driving on the edge of the map, shooting torpedoes, some stealth, or sitting there with some broken Russian vodka fueled guns and just burning everything to death. So you kind of got to play this ship a little more like a typical destroyer, and it's like kind of the best representation of all the different things the destroyers can do. The Farragut can do everything kind of well. So you see, this game is a tier 6 game, but we do have double aircraft carriers, so we'll have to kind of play around that. A lot of cruisers in this game, not a lot of battleships, so not a lot of opportunities to farm massive torpedo damage. So we're gonna have to be on our toes in this game. We spawn up here in the A cap on this side of the map, so we're gonna go ahead and head off to the A cap. There's 3 destroyers in the game, so we should be able to have a destroyer in each cap. Hopefully, this guy next to me here will head off towards Bravo. So, what are some basic considerations for playing a destroyer and kind of how to approach a cap? So, the first thing you always look at is your matchmaking. That's going to be one of the biggest determinations of how aggressive or how safe you play in a game. You have, for example, this is a tier 6 game, and none of those destroyers in their team are that scary. Hatsuharu is a little gun happy. Nevni's kind of balanced. Mutsuki is mostly a torpedo boat. They don't have any radar cruisers because this is a tier 6 game. You don't see radar until tier 7. And even then, it's only a couple ships like Atlanta and Belfast. As you play the game, you'll get a lot better understanding, which ships are more of a threat and which ships aren't. But in this game, we can afford to be fairly aggressive. But I still don't like YOLOing into the cap. One reason is because there are aircraft carriers. We see these Rangers planes up next to us. And if you notice, just to the left of our number 1, our HE shell on the bottom of the screen in the center, we have that symbol, the two little circles, that it means our AA guns and secondaries are turned off. You can do this by pressing P on your keyboard, and you'll deactivate your AA guns. Why do we do this, you ask? Well, because our ship has a 6.6 kilometer detection range by sea, so ships will spot us at 6.6 kilometers away. Airplanes will spot us at 2.9 kilometers away. However, our AA guns reach out to 5.8 kilometers. So, if a plane flies within 5.8 kilometers of us and our AA guns open up on it, you will be spotted. And you will be spotted until that plane leaves your AA gun range. So it's important to keep them off until a plane is spotting you, or if you're spotted anyway by firing your guns or by another ship, then you can go ahead and turn them on. So notice how we're approaching the A cap. We didn't drive straight into it. We didn't drive in around this island. We drove around the outside of the island, and now we're turning back. The plan is this: we're gonna come to the right of the island, and we're gonna turn so our ship is facing away from the cap. If some destroyer YOLO's in here, or if we were to get radared right now, we would have an easy escape by going to the front of the ship and simply skidding off behind this island to our right on the starboard side of the ship now. Hatsuharu is smoking up in this cap. Notice I'm spotted, but I haven't panicked. I haven't shot, because if I shoot, then that cruiser, the DeGrasse over there, detects me for 20 seconds. So I just wait. The Hatsuharu disappears into his smoke. He's smoking up. I wait a second. I slow down. I juke the DeGrasse's shells. The Hatsuharu goes behind smoke, and the DeGrasse is not close enough to spot me, so we're undetected again. A lot of destroyer play is just simply not panicking. If you get radared or you get spotted early like that, the best thing you can do is just not panic. Hatsuharu, like, he turned away, and we already saw his torpedoes go off to the other side of the objective, so now we can smoke up knowing that no one's going to be able to torpedo our smoke right away. We're going to start farming this DeGrasse and our smoke with our guns. It's important to use your guns when you have the opportunity. Right now, this DeGrasse is being spotted by the other ships in the objective with me. There's a cruiser and another destroyer in the objective. So I'm not the only person spotting this guy for my team. So I can smoke up right now and not have to worry about this guy disappearing. If I was the only ship in this cap and I smoked up, he would have disappeared and I wouldn't have been able to do anything. So it's kind of a situational awareness thing of, I've got some friends here, I don't have any issues smoking up. We also fire up our AA guns while we're in smoke, because we're not going to be detected while we're in our smoke cloud by the destroyer or the aircraft carrier. So our AA guns are free to shoot some planes down and kind of help give our allies some additional AA coverage. And notice how we're just moving back and forth a little bit. We stop for a second, and then we're going to move forward a little bit. We're moving in the smoke because a good player will see you shooting out of your smoke, and if they have an opportunity, they'll try to smoke fire you. We turn to see our situational awareness. We have to worry about that Hatsuharu. His torp reload is going to be up soon, so we want to make sure we're not going to be torpedoed in our smoke if that guy comes around. But this Königsberg just beaches himself. I don't know what he was doing. So we're going to load up some AP. American AP on destroyers is pretty good. Now, we don't get any massive damage rolls, but 1,300 damage every 3 seconds is that's some decent damage. So while this guy's giving us some broadside, we're gonna load up a couple AP shots. Now dispersion isn't great. We're running AA guns instead of aiming systems on this ship, so the dispersion's a little wonky. We're going to give one more shot with the AP, then we're going to switch back to HE because he is turning away from us. And we're going to go ahead and pop our speed boost and get moving because I am expecting Hatsuharu torps. Although I am going to torpedo this alleyway. Now, Farragut only has 6.2 kilometer range torpedoes, but this guy might move forward because he has islands on both sides of him. He can only really go back up or go forward. It looks like he might be going forward, so I'm going to go ahead and just guess that he might go forward and torpedo and pretty much deny him access to A right now. Notice how we sat in our smoke the entire time we had left. I'm going to keep shooting, but I'm going to go ahead and accelerate. So I'm going to go behind this island. So I've got a couple seconds where I can shoot, and it's not likely he's going to be able to get a lot of return fire on me. He turns, trying to avoid my torpedoes. Doesn't have time. The torpedoes get him, and we get our first kill of the game. Now, the A-cap is fairly secure right now. The DeGrasse had to retreat, but Hatsuharu is out here, and he's a big problem. Our Mutsuki is all but assuredly going to die soon. Hatsuharu is likely going to chase him down. So we know we right now don't have an easy option to get out of this cap. We would like to go get other caps, but I really can't right now. I'm shooting my guns at this Hatsuharu, but notice how I'm using this island to block myself from DeGrasse and any other ships that would be in B or A. The Hatsuharu can see me, but he's not much more effective than I am. Now, I'm not getting a lot of damage in because these US guns are very hard to use at that kind of range, at that edge of the range that they have, but I'm still shooting at him. I'm trying to get him off our Mutsuki. Unfortunately, he didn't have a lot of health, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and then slip behind this island. So as long as I was behind that island, I felt pretty safe about opening up with my guns there, and that's a decision you have to make as a destroyer player, is when do I want to use my guns and when do I not. We're still spotted by the aircraft that are dropping the Iron Duke right now. I probably am about to turn off my AA guns, I'm pretty sure, to see if I can maybe undetect, but they're so close to me right now that I'll, until they get shot down or they fly back to the ship, I'll be detected. They go down, we juke the DeGrasse shells. I just figured he was going to shoot at me again, so I took a stop for a second, but we need to get this Hatsuharu out of this cap. And this is another decision you have to make on a destroyer, is what fights do I want to take? Early on in this fight, I didn't want the fight because I didn't know what was in the cap, if there was 2 destroyers here, if there was more cruisers here. Now I know that Hatsuharu is at lower health than me. I have more health than him. I'm a US destroyer. It means I've got pretty good guns in close range. This guy's at half health. I'm at full. And if we leave the cap, he is going to just drive back into A and recap it. Our team is melting, as you can see. So we need to get this cap. We need to secure this side of the map, and we need to get moved on. I'm going to preemptively torp the island at the edge there because I think he might come around that island. And it'll at least deny him the ability to come around the island and torpedo me right away, but I do want to be careful to not go past this island on my right, because if I drive past this island, then he could torpedo me as the same way I just did him. So I'm going to go ahead and get close as I can, as I want to get this guy in my vision. I want to shoot him, but I'm not going to overcommit to this and let him get a good torpedo salvo on me. So right now I see him and I'm slamming on brakes. If he launches torpedoes, this little outcropping on the island protects me up to a certain point. So now he probably could have torpedoed me, but now we're opening up on our guns. We're taking a good lead on him. US guns are not the fastest. We're taking some damage, but like I said, we have the health to trade in this situation. It is absolutely worth it to trade a little bit of our health to get this guy out of the fight. Now, he makes a pretty big mistake here. He smokes, but he keeps driving. I don't think he realized that we had a battleship around A. If you look at the one line, there's a guy on the outside of A on our team, one of the 2 battleships over there. That's who's spotting him right now. So I shouldn't be able to see him because he's between, the smoke is between me and him. But because he's spotted by the other battleship, he's still detected, and he kind of screws up here pretty bad. And we're going to be able to gun him down. But it's important that we kind of start selling out here to get this guy out of the fight, because we need to get off this flank, and we need to start helping our team in the middle. And we're just going to kind of keep shooting. He's disappearing and reappearing. And we get one more shot, and we get the kill. So we're up to 40,000 damage. Only 1 torpedo landed in this game. We do have 2 kills. We killed the Königsberg when he tried to come back into the cap, and then we just gunned down that destroyer. So we've pretty much locked down this cap for our team by spotting and by running the destroyers and cruisers out of here. We need to go ahead and get to Bravo because our team is in rough shape. We've lost both our aircraft carriers. The enemy team essentially just bonanza through the middle of the map. Our team was playing the flanks, and there's not a whole lot I could have really done. I could have maybe left A, but there wasn't a whole lot of support here to really keep the cap. So in my opinion, it was probably better to do that. We lose another cruiser. Nuremberg goes down, and this is probably going to be a loss, but I still think the video showed a lot of good things for destroyer gameplay, so we're going to go ahead and run with it. We are going to go try to still get this game. You never know. We still have 2 battleships. They're at pretty much full health. destroyers can do some fun stuff. The aircraft carriers stay distracted. Yeah, maybe we make something happen. Maybe we can get some more points. Who knows? We're going to go ahead and go to the B cap. But at this point, we're kind of in sellout mode. We don't really have the ability to play super safe and be super cautious. It looks like a lot of the enemy teams either in our spawn or in C right now because C is being capped, so it gives us some information. We have Ranger planes coming in. That's going to be a problem. We're going to try to avoid those if we can. You have to keep in mind your detection ranges, so 6.6 by sea for this ship and 2.9 by air. So we want to try to avoid going within 2.9 kilometers of these planes. However, the problem is he's trying to drop the Queen Elizabeth, which is directly behind me. He can't see me, but he's just flying towards the Queen Elizabeth. So as soon as this guy gets in range, we should have turned our AA guns on right then, as soon as he got within 2.9, but we turned our AA guns on to try to help the Queen Elizabeth out. Maybe we shoot down a plane or two. But we're gonna shoot some planes down, and when those get out of my range, I'm gonna go ahead and probably turn them back off. So see how I turned them off and I got undetected immediately? That's kind of how that works. So if you're ever wondering in an aircraft carrier game, it's important to remember if you have a ship with good AA, to turn it off if you don't want to be detected, unless they're of course right over you, because you'll be detected at your AA's range, not at your plane spotting range if your AA guns are shooting. So we're gonna get into the cap here, and we're gonna see what we have going on. I mean, this again, just we guys gotta take the cap. We gotta try to make something happen. Our team is down a ton of points, a ton of ships. If they didn't have the two aircraft carriers, it was just those 5 ships. I mean, it would be a possible come from behind win. But with double aircraft carriers still up and R2 carriers were potatoes and died, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this later. Look where I'm torping him. He's over 8 kilometers away, but he's moving in. He's closing on me fast. I'm gonna launch those short of the indicator because I think he is probably gonna turn in at some point. And if I don't catch him, I might catch that Arizona. So we smoke up a little too late. Arizona, I wasn't expecting to come around the corner. Arizona shoots a good salvo, and he, of course, gets like 9 trillion damage with AP because, yeah, of course he did. Arizona has a frightening broadside of 12 356 millimeter guns. But I wanted to point out, like I said, that Leander was outside of our torpedo range when I launched them, but because he was making up distance and coming towards me, I could get away with that. If he was moving away from me, there'd have been no point to launch torpedoes, because at 6.2 kilometers, they never get there. But those do. And we get a dev strike on 2 hits, and the Leander goes down. So we're trying to maybe stay in this fight here. I need to try to buy some time, but I want to try to detect this Arizona for my team. So I'm going to go ahead and move out of my smoke cloud. And I'm going to try to get a little more of a situational awareness, maybe spot for my 2 battleships, and maybe they can do some damage. Maybe they get a detonation on somebody. I mean, at this point, like I said, you got to kind of play like a jackass. We have Arizona here at 6 kilometers. Notice what I do right here. I take 1 shot before I go around my smoke cloud. It's hard to see in the water, but there's a periphery of the smoke cloud, and because that was the only thing between me and him, it actually acted like an island, and I got a free shot without being seen. Now we're within my detection range, so we're being detected by him. His front guns do a ton of damage, and now he's turning his back guns. I'm going to try to avoid him. I'm trying to get a fire on this guy or a detonation or something. He shoots his back guns, and because he was smart enough to load HE in his guns, he's going to do a billion damage to salvo, and he absolutely deletes us. There's not a lot we could do there. We could have maybe shot a second torp salvo even shorter and tried to hit him and Leander, but honestly, I shot those thinking about Leander, and that Arizona popped up like as I launched the second set of torpedoes, and I didn't really have time to think about what I should have done. I could have slammed on brakes sooner. But overall, what this game was, as I'm lamenting about in chat, is our aircraft carriers died, theirs didn't, so they're going to win this game, which is frustrating. I mean, we played a good game. 60,000 damages and earth shaking, but we had 3 kills. And we had a good mix of torpedoes and guns. We contested a cap, and we secured an entire flank for our team. Not completely by ourselves, but definitely if we weren't playing well on that A cap, we probably wouldn't have won that side either. So just kind of a frustrating thing, but hopefully you kind of saw some of the tactics of destroyer players. Like I said, like if you noticed in the beginning of the video where I went into the cap, I turned wide and then had an island near me. You always kind of want to have an out, especially in the higher tiers when radar is a big deal and you can drive into a cap and get lit up like a Christmas tree. You don't want to be in a situation where you're sitting in the middle of the cap and you're smoked broadside, because you're just going to get wrecked. So you don't want to just not go into the caps. You want to play like a destroyer, and you want to do your job, but you don't want to get like overcommitted and get yourself in positions that you can't get out of easily. Sometimes you're going to go on a cap where you have 1 cruiser and 1 battleship with you, and they send 7 ships over there, and in that case, it's like, okay, yeah, I don't want to do this, and you just leave. So We used our guns when we had the opportunities to. We didn't just gunboat like a jackass constantly. Sometimes we were spotting, sometimes we were using our guns. It's just a calculated risk, and it just comes down to situational awareness and knowing what ships are over there, what ships are a threat, what ships maybe aren't a threat, and what you can maybe do to mitigate that threat. Like when I drove around the island and was shooting at the Hatsuharu, but the island protected me from other ships shooting me. Little things like that, and destroyer play is hard because that is all the little things that go into it, and that's what makes a good destroyer player or a average one or a bad one is how well you have a good situational awareness and know what you can do and what you can't do. So our Iron Duke is going to get torpedoed and go down, and that's going to be another L in World of L's. But hopefully you learned something. Hopefully the video was helpful, and hopefully you got something out of it. So anyway, guys, that's what I got for you today. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.